and let's make some 2D platformer game. Okay, so we already got this tiled asset generated by our AI, and let's try to build this into a sort of palette that we can use. So this is the step where our humans step in to choose the one that you think is best, and then you can build your own tiles based on this selection that you choose. Okay, so let's just create something new. Okay, let's create a 2D object because we are building a 2D platformer right now. So let's got a time map, and right now a rectangular would be fine because we sort of just call it rectangular. Okay, you don't want it this is rectangular. Okay, this will automatically generate grid, and inside we got a tile map. You can just delete it, and you can just watch another sort of tile. Okay, so if you're doing a strategy game, you might need some tile like this, and if you're doing say flat top, something like that, this also worked for a strategy game, and this is just directions different. Okay, and you can delete it, and of course some unconventional game, you might need to isometric on something like that, and it will give you a lot of leeway if you do that. Okay, but for now let's just stick with the classic rectangular. Okay, so once you are finished with that, what I'm going to do is to scroll out a little bit. So you got this camera view here, and of course we're going to add backgrounds. I will demonstrate how to use AI to generate a pretty pixelized background, because you know the style need to be consistent. Okay, so if you got all these assets, it's a 3D asset, you got a 3D asset. If all these assets is pixelized, you got to go pixelized. Unless you want to do something, yeah, just have sort of a mixed style. If you want to get the player sort of feeling that you are created intentionally. Unless you want to do that, you'd better keep that consistent, because there will be a yeah, bad design if you do that. Okay, so let's try to do that. We already got this tile ready, but we are going to generate all this say sprite, this player's avatar, and the background and all sort of thing. So I think maybe we're going to create a folder just to make things organized. Okay, that folder will be sprite folder. Okay, so this can be a sprite, so let me rename that. Okay, so there will be our tile sprite, underline sprite. Of course you can use camel casing. I'm going to sort of go doing the mix sprite, tile sprite. Okay, and you can just move in the sprite. Okay, and of course you can get another folder, say that this will be our environment. Did I spell that correctly? Okay, let me just check that. Yeah, of course I did not spell that correctly. Let me correct that. I have a terrible spelling. Okay, so environment. Okay, so this is the original sprite, and what I'm going to do is to get the sort of organized selection of the sprite to that environment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to add the storage system that can store the sort of selected tile, and let me sort of like a macro key that you play in the game. So if you play some game that you want to some combination of it, you can just say you got, yeah, let me draw something down. Okay, so if you got game X, Y, and A and B, something like that, you're going to do that, and we got up, up, down, down, something like that. Okay, so if you press this in this order, you will execute some skill 1. Okay, and then you got down, down, say A, B, and up, down, and X, X, something like that, and you press in this order, you will get skill 2, something like that. Okay, so you can just use it as a macro key or macro thing. Okay, so if you hold X for 3 seconds, you can just execute that, and this will be if you hold Y for, I don't know, 4 seconds, and you can execute that. Okay, so this is a sort of like the macro key that you can put your skill in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to make a combination of our selected tile and put that inside of the shelf inside of the environment. Okay, so let's do this container. So let's add that container. Okay, so the default setup of the Unity do not have it, so you can just go to Windows and go 2D, because we're making 2D game, and we're sprite editor, and we get tile palette. And the tile palette is just like the color palette used by artists when you draw a painting. Okay, paint a painting or draw a drawing. Okay, but for us, we are sort of a digital artist. Okay, so we also got a palette, and let's just do that. Okay, so once you do that, you can just click and drag to sort of combine that with the workbench that you already have. You got this tab here. Okay, you do not got that. You got the tab here, and click it and paste it at any place that you want. Okay, let me just go here so I can snug all this window at the center of it. Okay, here is a new environment that we can work, and let me give this center place a little bit more space than that, because for now the asset is not a lot, so we can give it more space at the center. Alright, let's start painting. Okay, so once we got that, still we haven't created our palette yet, so we're going to create our palette and move all this sprite info inside the palette. Okay, so we got a create new palette here, so click it, and you can give it a creative name. I'm going to say this is a tile palette. Okay, and rectangle automatic, nothing too fancy about that. You can just create it, and here is the step that you choose where you should store your palette. And for me, I think the maybe just inside the environment, I think that's a good place to go. So we got a tile palette inside of this environment. Okay, we got a tile palette. Remember, if you click it here, you will notice this tile palette dot prefab. So what is prefab anyway? So prefab essentially is a thingy that inside of Unity that we use it as a sort of template. Okay, so for example, if you make a game, and the game should have thousands of monsters, say skeleton. Okay, so we get the 100 1000 of the skeletons, and you're going to kill all of that as a player, right? And these skeletons, you can't just model every skeleton from scratch and generate that. You're going to have a template to sort of control all this skeleton, and adding sort of algorithm to generate that. And that sort of a template is the prefab. So as the name suggests, it's prefabricated thingy. Okay, so yeah, you don't need to go too deep in that. And I think prefab just become a word that yeah, just prefab. So okay, and you just know that you just generate a prefab called tile palette. Okay, And what I'm going to do is to import, and as you guys can see, drag tile sprite or sprite texture asset here, and that is exactly what we are going to do. We got sprite here, and inside of sprite we got all sort of thing we can choose. You can just click the first one, okay, and holding shift clicks the last one, and you can select every one of it, okay, and then you can just click and drag, put it inside of a palette, okay. And here comes another to ask you where you should save it. Let's just save it at the environment, okay. And here we are, we import all of it inside of our palette, and it looks just great. It's not so messy like this, but it's sort of rearranged a little bit and beautifully combined all this together, and that looks good. So let's actually start painting on it. So you can move your mouse over here, okay. We already got this sort of a paint with active brush, and we got a shortcut of B mode, and we got a selection mode, we got a move mode. So the default is paint, this is a brush mode. Let me just give you a idea of what is going on, okay. So let me get the this one looks pretty good. As I said, you're not required to select every part of it, okay. So you just choose the one that you like. This is where your you the developer add value, okay. So I think maybe this looks pretty good, okay. I got a platform here, and the person can jump down here, okay. That looks pretty good. And remember, this is just a camera, okay. The whole canvas can be much bigger, okay. You can get a pretty huge canvas, huge map, and you can get a lot of things going on here. For example, you can get a huge drop, okay. So the person jump and falling all the way down, okay. And of course, if you think that is not efficient, what you can do is to select multiple things, okay. So once you click and drag, you choose 3 tiles, and here comes the interesting part, is that you can just write and brush all this part all at once. That just looks great, okay. And you can just just click and drag like you are drawing on the pixelated canvas, okay. You can drag something like this, and yeah, you can do that. You can even got say you are creating a sort of a pixelated art, and because I also got a digital art channel that's called Learn Digital Art with William Jamming. Okay, if you're interested, you can check that channel out. But I bring that out is that I remind you guys that I have a digital pen and tablet here. So if you are also interested in that, you can use your pen to draw on it. So you can even say something like William. Yeah, I'm using my pen to do that, okay? William Jamming YouTube channel. And this will be your basic game structure, and that is just fantastic. You got a lot of things to work from, okay? So you can leave an Easter egg for your game, okay? So in fact, you are playing on a on signature or something like that, okay? And you can even draw something, okay? So you can even say draw a cute cat, okay? You can do that. Okay, and the person can just jump here. Yeah, the equation is limitless. Okay, so you got all sort of things to work from, and then you can bring your guys here, and you can jump and jump out the whisker, and of course jump inside the cat. And of course, if you think well, I want this to be erased, Of course you can do that because it's a canvas. You're drawing it. This is your palette, okay? So you just change the tool, okay? Erase with active brush. So D for delete, okay? So you just erase that. So sort of ease our way. So player got here and jump to the whisker and got inside of the cat, okay? And that is just great. Okay, so we get our kitty here, and let me change that. Draw something. Something like that. He got a tail. And this will be our game, okay? You can even start it as a joke, but actually you can do that. The engine is pretty powerful, and you can do that. You can see how versatile this sort of a mechanism is, okay? So the creation option is limitless, okay? And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I tend to make my video shorter than before and focus on one functionality in one video, okay?